The people who end up in relationships with narcissists are not who you think they are. They are not weak. They are not naive. They are some of the most emotionally intelligent, sensitive, deeply empathetic people you will ever meet. And here is what almost nobody connects. That kind of deep empathy and sensitivity very often comes with neurodivergence. I can say all of this plainly because I am neurodivergent. And so are most of the people who sit across from me in my practice. That is not a coincidence. And when I say neurodivergent, I mean it broadly. Autistic, ADHD, anyone with a learning difference. And I will also tell you in my practice, I see a lot of people with a high IQ, and I consider that neurodivergence too. If any of that describes you in any way, or if you've ever been curious if you also might be neurodivergent, please stay with me. Because the exact traits that make you emotionally gifted are the exact traits a narcissist is looking for. Your empathy, your sensitivity, your ability to read a room before you have even sat down in it. We are going to go over what I believe are the top 3 reasons your wiring is the thing that they hunt for, why it is so much harder for us to leave, and one truth that changes everything. Once you see them, you stop asking what is wrong with you and start seeing what was done to you. You did not end up here because something is wrong with you. You ended up here because something is deeply right with you and someone went looking for exactly that. So let me show you the first reason. If you learn to read everyone in the room before you read yourself, you were already trained for the exact role a narcissist needs you to play. Most neurodivergent people learn to mask early, to smooth ourselves out, to keep our spidey senses up so we could catch every cue and fit in. The culture taught us to do this in order to survive. And masking and people pleasing are often the same move. Both mean disappearing your own needs to manage how everyone else feels. We spent years being other oriented, reading everyone, making sure we were okay, and trying to fit into a world not made for us. Now think about what a narcissist wants. Someone who will vanish their own needs, read them constantly, and meet those needs instead of their own. You were a target because you were fluent in the exact thing they feed on. You learned to please everyone else so well that you forgot you were allowed to have needs of your own. What was once survival becomes the thing that they weaponize against you. A lot of neurodivergent people live with rejection sensitivity. We feel rejection at a depth most people cannot even imagine. And we read it where it is not even there. A pause, a short reply, and we are already certain we have lost someone. Now, if you're bracing for rejection everywhere, the quiet signals of someone genuinely liking you do not always land. A lot of us do not register normal interest. It is too subtle to break through. So when someone floods you, the attention, the intensity, the certainty, that is sometimes the only time interest is loud enough for you to believe it. The love bomb was not just flattering, it was finally legible. You did not fall for the flood of love bombing because you were naive. You fell for it because it was the first time someone's interest was turned up loud enough for you to finally hear it. When the narcissist said you were too sensitive, you believed them. Not because it was true, but because you had been hearing it your whole life. Most neurodivergent people walk in already carrying complex trauma. We were called different, weird, too sensitive, too much. We were told again and again that our perceptions were wrong and we were the problem. So when a narcissist says you're too sensitive, you misread that, you did not get the joke, it does not sound like an alarm. It sounds familiar. It matches the story the world already wrote about you. That is why the red flag does not register. The line that should make you run is the exact line you were trained your whole life to accept. And here is what makes it worse. A lot of us struggle to regulate big emotions. They come fast and they come huge. So we already learned not to trust them, to assume that if we feel something this strongly, we must be overreacting. So inside the relationship, when something genuinely hurts, we do not read it as them. We read it as us. And it collapses into one sentence. What is wrong with me? See, I knew something was wrong with me, but that thought was never yours. The culture wrote it years before this person ever said a word. They did not have to convince you that you were the problem. The world already had. So if you asked what was wrong with you instead of what was being done to you, that was the trauma. It was never the truth. If you've wondered why you could not just leave, why you stayed and stayed when you could see what was happening, that was not weakness. Our neurodivergence makes leaving harder, and that is the part almost nobody ever explains. First, we feel everything deeper. So the good moments felt higher, the crumbs felt like feast, and the thought of losing someone felt unbearable in a way most people will never fully understand. We also usually walked in already carrying some more complex trauma, and these relationships add more on top. So by the time you are trying to leave, you're doing it from a nervous system that is already overwhelmed and running on empty. And then there's the open loop. The neurodivergent brain usually has a harder time closing a question that has no answer. So the relationship does not end when it ends. It keeps running in your mind, replaying, relitigating, searching for the explanation that would finally make it make sense. And a narcissist never gives you that. So the loop never closes. And you stay tied to it long after you are gone. You did not stay because you were weak. You stayed because you feel deeper. You were already carrying more, and your mind could not close a loop that was never going to be answered. Every single thing that made you a target to a narcissist and every reason it was so hard to leave is the same wiring that is going to set you free. Let me show you how. The empathy and compassion they exploited is very real, and it is yours. Pointed at yourself, it becomes the thing that finally lets you believe your own pain instead of explaining it away, and teaches you to be with yourself instead of by yourself. The sensitivity and spidey senses you use to read others to fit in can become the gift that allows you to practice discernment. When you relearn to trust yourself in the right ways, you'll be very good at knowing who is safe and who isn't. The CPTSD, when healed, becomes post-traumatic growth that takes you further than you've ever gone before. And that open loop you cannot close does have an answer. But that answer is within you. And when you see that they were never the answer to anything, and no one ever is, you will be more free than most people ever are. None of this was a flaw to fix. It was a gift no one taught you how to use. And using these gifts in the right way is a skill that can be learned. You were never too much, and you were never the problem. You were a deeply gifted person who had never been taught to turn that gift toward yourself. And that is the whole work. If this gave you language you did not have before, save it. Not for today, for the day you forget that what happened was never proof something was wrong with you. Let me know in the comments if any of this landed for you. I will see you in the next one.